Let me give y'all some game right here. You heard it from Aisha 4 and 5 Newton. The 2020 election was won by some own bullshit. Okay? And the Democrats knew that it was some bullshit. This is why the first thing they did was open up that border, because you know what? In 2020, you had more black Americans who had registered and voted Republican than in a very, very long time, okay? And they knew that that was a very bad situation for them. So they had to bring a motherfucker over by the masses so they can replace y'all asses. And guess what? Y'all have almost been replaced. Y'all better thank the orange guy.
Greeting everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. And in today's episode, we are seeing that black Americans are claiming that there was always a plan by the Democrat government to replace them. And this goes back to the time Joe Biden was in power, and you got to see an influx of illegal immigrants being welcomed to sanctuary cities that are mostly black dominated, and that is cities like Chicago, Denver, and New York. And in doing so, black Americans became concerned about this sudden influx of immigrants, and that is why you're getting to see that recently most of the black American community is not being involved in the ICE protests. Kindly watch the rest of this episode while I come with my commentary at the end of it.
Let's have a conversation. As foundational black Americans, we should be outraged right now. For many, many, many years, we have been voting for the Democrats. We have put our votes, no blue, no matter who, we have put our votes behind the Democrat Party. But what do we have to show for it? We have been fooled into believing that we should fight everyone's battle. We should pull everyone under our umbrellas. And when we did that, we put ourselves even further behind. But that's the kind of people we are. We want everybody to do well. But you can't help other people if you can't even help yourself. We are in the same place that we have been since freedom. If you don't believe me, go Google. Go do your own research. And I'm talking economically. Where there are some of us who are more successful than others, black people as a whole are pretty much on the bottom. Dr. Claude Anderson, I tell you, you've got to go look at Dr. Claude Anderson's videos, read his books. He has been warning us about what is going to take place since the early 90s at least. But as black people, we didn't listen. He actually predicted what was going to happen, and what's happening today is exactly what Dr. Claude Anderson said would happen. Black people would be on the bottom. Where we were once number 2, we are close to number 4, the bottom. Dr. Claude Anderson said, now just think about it. If you're number 2 and you're not getting what you need, what do you think is going to happen when you're number 4? Illegal immigrants are coming here, and our people, our Democrats, whom we love so much, are showing them more love than they're showing their faithful voters. You see, they know that the gig is almost up, that the scales have been removed from our eyes, and we're starting to see that we're getting nothing out of this deal. But they're so freely giving benefits that should be coming to us to people who aren't even citizens. I talked about in a previous video how California was about to pass a bill that would allow illegal immigrants to get up to $150,000 for down payments on homes. Some states are allowing illegal immigrants to get on the police force. Some states are allowing illegal immigrants to have driver's license. And some states are allowing undocumented immigrants to vote in our elections. Go look it up. Check out what's going on in Washington, D.C. Minnesota passed the bill, Tim Walz, for illegal immigrants to have driver's license. So, people, open your eyes to see what's going on. We're being replaced right in front of our eyes. We're so worried about Project 2025, which pretty much most of the stuff is already happening, but we're not paying attention to Project Democrat 2025, which is the illegal immigrants coming over here and reaping all the benefits. What is the game plan? We know that these politicians are strategic. And it's clear to me, and I hope it's clear to you, we're being replaced. The time is now to stomp hard. We've got to stomp hard for reparations. We have got to save our people. We have got to save ourselves. When it's time to vote, I hope you guys take into consideration everything that's going on currently. Wake up, people. It's time to get to work.
All right, so America, I may not be the smartest person out of the bunch, but I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm seeing in reality with my own eyes. The migrants and the people crossing over the border, they're not just taking black jobs, they're taking all of American jobs. Things like rideshare, a large portion of America is making their money and taking care of their families that way. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart, lately 95% of the drivers have been Espanol, Felipe, Feliz, Olga, Jose. These are the people who are taking your jobs now. These are the people who are coming over here who don't have to build up any type of credit history, and they're approved instantly for a loan just because they crossed the border. That reason only. So Americans, let's please wake up. We're being replaced in this country. We're being replaced in this country, not just in the workforce, but in everyday living. You're going to see this stuff more than just the jobs, the scholarships that your children used to get. No, that Hope Scholarship that comes in Georgia, that Pell Grant money, that's going to go to the foreigners. Your children are going to stop getting approved for financial aid because they're going to give it away all for free to the migrants.
But I need my president to tell me why I worked so hard all these years, all these decades. Couldn't get a business loan, but I bust my ass to get the money to create my business. And we got immigrants coming here. And they're getting money. Money! We're doing nothing but just being here. It's not right, and I want answers.
So this woman, who, by the way, is not only a small business owner, but she's a veteran as well. This woman, the backstory to this is that she had to sell her food truck. An illegal immigrant, somebody that is not supposed to be in this country at all, was able to procure a loan to buy her food truck. And so now this person is going to be able to make money from her dream. This is what's happening to so many Americans all across the country, people that had put their blood, sweat, and tears into trying to build something in this country, and they are being basically replaced by illegal immigrants, because these people are coming over here and they are getting taxpayer money, by the way, to do all of these different things. So when you listen to what Kamala Harris is saying about how she's going to do all of these things for these quote unquote first generation Americans, you really want to ask yourself who she's talking about here. She is talking about them. And so you have hardworking Americans, Black Americans, by the way, like this woman who is in tears because she sees her business failing. And she sees people that are not even supposed to be here getting better treatment than her. This is what is happening under, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris right now, because, by the way, Joe Biden is president and Kamala Harris is vice president. And mind you, there will be more of this if she becomes president.
So listen, man, I don't know if y'all have been paying attention or not, but black people, we're the new minority in this country. Yes. You guys remember when the Mexicans first started coming over here? When it was only a couple of Mexicans and they were calling Mexicans minorities, right? Yes, the Mexicans have far exceeded the black population in America. And so is everyone else on pace to do. The Arabs, the Asians, everyone. We are the official minority in America. We are being replaced. So black people, if you haven't figured it out yet, we are being replaced. All the benefits that you guys have been wanting, reparations and things of that nature, they're giving them to the migrants and they're giving them to Ukraine. Yes, we have homeless people on the streets, but they're giving all the money to Ukraine and the migrants. So black people, just know your vote no longer will matter anymore. That's why they're bringing in the migrants, the Democrats, because they're going to replace you as their go-to people for the election. As you've noticed, they haven't used any of the singers, Beyonce, any of the rappers like they normally do to market to black people every year. They haven't went to Oprah or any of these people. They are tired of black people. Black people aren't working any type of physical labor jobs. We don't want to do any type of hard working jobs that involve using your hands. So yes, they have replaced us. We have been replaced. They can't depend on us for the vote anymore. Yes. So black people, we are the official minority in this country.
Billionaire tech and entrepreneur Mark Andreessen explains inadvertently how DEI has crushed the African American community. The foundational black community.
It actually also affects African Americans in a very interesting way, which is actually both the universities and the corporate employers are literally, this is true, they literally import Africans so that they don't have to hire African Americans because they still count as black. There was a great story. The thing that woke me up to this, there was a story in the New York Times 20 years ago about Harvard. This is Harvard admits, black students, but which ones? Back when the New York Times could talk about these things honestly. And it quoted actually Henry Louis Gates and Lonnie Guinier at the time at Harvard Law School, basically observing that African Americans were not benefiting from an affirmative action because Harvard had figured out that they could import Nigerians. Right, and again, it's just like, great, the Nigerians are great, they're very smart, they're very productive, it's fantastic, all other things being equal, you'd like to have as many of them in your country, but like, is that really why we're doing, the set-aside programs?
This is a part of American history that most immigrants, and specifically, I want to talk to the Africans that come here, this is the part of American history that you guys don't understand. And this is why you may think the black Americans are always complaining. You guys have to understand that we are not a guest here, right? We didn't just get here and like you guys. We're on a completely different program, and the government treats us as such. Let me read this to you. We are the only group in this country with a moral, legal, and historical claim to reparations, land, restitution, and policy power, and the moral authority to challenge the foundation of America. We're the only group that has been here since the beginning. We understand the law of the land. We know how this country was started. We know every single step that this country has been through. And when you have people like that, that's the higher ups don't want to fight with people like that, right? So what they do is they use DEI to they import people who look like us to then put them on the screen, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Karine Jean-Pierre, to make it seem like, yeah, we do hire black people. Those are first generation people here. Those are not black Americans. They don't look at this country like we do.
You think they filled out all that paperwork, sucked up to all those good white people, took that long ass flight out here, took off those sandals and put on shoes just to fight white supremacy? Nah, they came out here to replace us. They came out here to replace black Americans. Even if they don't consciously realize it, that's what's going on. They're trying to replace us. But the problem is these Africans and these Caribbeans don't have the same soul that we have. They don't have the same vibe that we have. They don't have the talent that we have. So the white man may be trying to replace us, but it's only going to bite him in his flat ass. The last thing on the African's mind is to fight white supremacy. They're just happy to be in America. They're just happy to be in a place with constant running water. They're just happy to be in a place where you can make good money.
Black people need to understand what's going on in America today. Your vote that y'all are arguing about, whether you're going to vote Republican or Democrat like it makes a lick of difference, your vote, Joe Biden is trying to replace you with the migrants, with anybody he can put in those shoes. That's why the migrants are here. They're not here because the government's trying to be nice. They're not here for any positive reason. The migrants are in America because Joe Biden needs to replace the black vote because he knows that you can't continue to be lied to. You are waking up. You are too smart for the games they are playing today. Again, like I've said before, Republicans, that doesn't mean that now we 100% on your team either. Quite frankly, I don't think none of us should vote because majority of us don't even know what to vote for. We don't know what the policies are. We don't know none of that. So shouldn't no black person be voting, especially if you're just voting because your mama and grandmama is lifelong Democrats. No, that's a lose-lose. Stop.
Shirley Chisholm, right? Her family was given housing priority over African-American families. And she wrote about that in her book to share to people that, like, during that time, America was intentionally bringing Caribbean families here and giving them more generational wealth and taking that away from the African-Americans that were already here.
So I went to Brooklyn College too, and I have this Trinidadian professor. But what she said was like, back in like the 60s, 70s, they wanted a more docile N-word. They was doing too much.
Yeah.
So they brought over the more docile, well-behaved, hardworking black people from the Caribbean, and they gave them opportunities to land and housing, and especially in New York.
Yes, this government has been doing this. They've been trying to replace you for a very, very long time. When Hispanic Americans come into the country, when Africans come into the country, when Haitians come into the country, when everybody, every minority comes into the country, the first thing they're told is stay away from African Americans. This is what you don't do. This is what you don't say. This is how you be a good American. They're coaching immigrants and then rewarding them and reinforcing the conditioning to stay away from you, all while gaslighting and trolling you by saying, hey, we don't have money for reparations. But yet every week, every month, I'm hearing about 60 billion, 80 billion to the migrants, this money to Ukraine, that money to Israel. The truth is, America won't give African Americans and minorities period reparations because it would bankrupt the whole country, and they're not going to help you bankrupt the country. Side note, white Americans stand down because they don't want to help you either. They don't care about you either. Because you took so long, because you waited so long to listen to black Americans about about this country. Now you're included in the mistreatment. You're included in poverty. You're included in all of our issues. So not only does this government not help African Americans, Hispanic Americans, any minorities, they don't even care about the poor white Americans.
Thank you once again, and let's get down to it. First, we need to understand as to why most Black Americans are choosing to stay out of the ICE protest and all the deportation of the illegal immigrants who are settling in the Black American communities in the sanctuary cities. And you need to understand that there is actually a very clear reason as to why most of these Black Americans are staying out. And if you get to notice this, back in the time when Joe Biden was in power with his vice president, that is Kamala Harris, you get to notice that there was a high influx of illegal immigrants in the United States. And these illegal immigrants were mostly centered in the sanctuary cities, that is of New York, Denver, and Chicago, which are mostly Black dominated communities. And in doing so, we are getting to see there was this massive increase in the population pressure in these specific cities. And that is how we get to have these conspiracy theories like the Great Replacement conspiracy theory, where it was projected that the aim of the American government was to replace the entire Black population with the illegal immigrants, who would have much more impacts, especially when it comes to controlling the political narrative and also distributing resources among the marginalized communities in the United States. And in doing so, we're getting to see the Black Americans actually decided to retaliate back. And this is how we get to have these new Black community groups that were formed, like the Foundational Black Americans and the American Descendant of Slaves, also commonly known as EDOS, with this online group of Black communities coming out to delineate from the general African American groups, with the aim of trying to redefine their ethnicity and trying to make a clear distinction between them and the Black and Caribbean immigrants who had moved into the country. And there's actually a reason behind it. As you get to know, this massive influx of illegal immigrants in the United States was actually affecting the Black Americans directly. For instance, in cities like Chicago, Denver, and New York, we're getting to see that after there was a massive influx of these illegal immigrants, there was expected to be strain in the resources that was being used in this community, and also strain in the job opportunities, as you're getting to see these illegal immigrants provided cheap labor that was mostly dominated by the Black men in the Black communities, and in doing so being replaced by these illegal immigrants who actually worked for lower wages, had a direct impact on the Black American community. And also in these cities, you're getting to notice that even after the influx of these illegal immigrants, most of the municipal states actually diverted resources that would directly benefit the Black American individuals to help the illegal immigrants. For instance, you're getting to see some parks were being converted to sanctuary homes for these illegal immigrants. Even some community halls and houses were being offered freely to these illegal immigrants. And in doing so, the Black Americans felt like the government was actually betraying them. As you all know that the Black American community has actually been a massive force when it comes to having political impact in the United States. And we're getting to see that most of them supported the Democrat government. And instead of them reaping the benefits of what they fought for and what their former enslaved ancestors fought for, it is these illegal immigrants who are coming into the United States getting to enjoy all the fruits of their labors. And instead of the local governments focusing on the Black American individuals, we're getting to see that these illegal immigrants are getting all the attention and help from the government, leaving the Black Americans stranded with lacking options to make the minimum wage, and also lack the job opportunities that would enable them to support themselves. And another incident is, again, these illegal immigrants had easier access to healthcare compared to the local Black individuals who are living in these communities. And this prioritization by the American government, which was unfairly handed to the illegal immigrants at the expense of the Black Americans, had a deeper message to them, showing that the Great Replacement conspiracy theory was actually actively taking place. And this actually made a huge swing in the number of Blacks who voted for Trump, who came back into power, that is early in the year 2024. With the sole aim was making America great again by taking out all the illegal immigrants who are fleecing all the resources that were supposed to benefit the Black American community members. And that is why up to date we're getting to see, even amidst the massive ICE protests that we're getting to see in most cities in the United States, majorly the Black American community has been silent about it. And you've seen videos like of other Black Americans, especially of the foundational Black American groups and the American Descendants of Slaves group, coming out to warn other Black Americans against joining these protests, as it is not their war. This, if you go back to my previous statement, will make you understand why most of the Black Americans are choosing to stay out of this. As you're getting to understand that this massive influx of illegal immigrants in the United States actually directly affected the Black American community. And with Trump right now pushing all these individuals back to their countries by forced deportations and massive ICE arrests, the Black American community is believing that the time has finally come for them to actually acquire the benefits that they have fought for decades. And amidst that, we're getting to also understand that the foundational Black Americans and the entire Black American community is looking forward for reparations from the American government. That is after offering free labor to the American economy for almost 250 years. And in these reparations, the Black Americans are delineating from the general Black community with the aim of ensuring that it's only the descendants of these former enslaved African Americans who get to receive the reparations, and not other immigrants who actually moved into the United States and enjoy the sweat and blood of other people. And so in this video, as you've seen various individuals coming out to claim that there was always a plan of them being replaced in the United States, you now get to fully understand the reason as to why these individuals thought so, as the massive deportations in the United States carried out by Trump's government is actively taking place, with Black American individuals actually being safe as they are not being targeted by these ICE arrests. And this has again led to massive online feuds with other American communities, for example, the Latino community, who are calling out the Black community for not coming out to help them in these ICE arrests, despite of the fact that these same communities always also came out to support the Black Americans during the rampant Black Lives Matter movement that was against police brutality aimed at the Black communities. Despite of this, the Black Americans have remained resolute about their decision to stay out of these ICE protests, and it's just a matter of time before we get to see how things actually turned out in the United States, as this status quo in between the Black Americans, the Latino community, and the general American population is coming to a conclusive ending. Well, this again marks the end of this episode. Thank you for watching to this point, and once again, kindly don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the share button, and see you in the next episode.